Today we're talking about dun dun dun, the ones that got away. Welcome back to Comics Are Dope. I'm BJ Kicks, and if you know me, then you know that I am a sucker for a good omnibus, oversized hardcover edition of a book. And if I like a story, I want the omnibus. If I'm even remotely curious about a story, I want the omnibus. And that's sometimes counterproductive, especially given the last video I put up on the channel. But, at some point you got to draw a line, and there's not going to be as much money as there are going to be wants and wishes on your wish list, right? And so in this video, I'm running down all the ones that got away, the omnibus editions that I really wanted to get, but just couldn't make room for in the budget in this year, 2023. And I guess this is just an exercise in showing restraint and, holding yourself accountable, right? And so this video, of course, is part of the 25 Days of Comics, and it is sponsored by Organic Price Books. Each of these books, if they're in stock, you can find at Organic Price Books. There are some of these that are unfortunately sold out for the foreseeable future, but no worries. Whenever I get some extra cash, I'm going to check with my man JP. I'm going to use discount code BJKicks at checkout, save myself $2, and I'm going to grab one or a couple of these books. So let's get started with the books that I really wanted this year, but they unfortunately got away. So the first one is Miles Morales by Saladin Ahmed. Now, this came out, I want to say in June of this year, but Miles by Saladin Ahmed, if I'm honest, wasn't fully on my radar. I had started collecting this run in single issues, starting with issue 25, which was like the Clone Saga. I want to say this issue ran all the way up to like 45, maybe even 48 issues this series ran up to. But I tried to get into the Clone Saga, didn't really get into it. I kept collecting it though for the Torrin Clark covers. But what happened between the time that I said, I'm not going to buy this book, and today was Across the Spider-Verse. I went and I saw Across the Spider-Verse in theaters, and it just firmly solidified. You know what? Miles is my Spider-Man. That's just how it is. Cut and dry. Miles is probably my favorite Spider-Man. I've enjoyed Miles in media more than I've enjoyed Peter in media, depending. They bring different things to the table. I like them both, but I really liked Miles in Across the Spider-Verse. And the other thing that really, really hooked me, Cody Ziegler's run on the current Miles Morales title. That first 5 issues where he introduced this new villain and gave Miles a new arch nemesis, I was like, yo, Miles is finally coming into his own. The writing in this is great. The art in this is great. It has become very clear that at some point they're going to do a Cody Ziegler Miles Morales omnibus. I hope he gets a super nice long run. And when they collect that, I am going to own Miles Morales Volume 1, Miles Morales Volume 2, and Miles Morales Volume 4. The only thing that'll be missing is Saladin Ahmed's run on the character. And I'm like, you know what? Dang, that one got away. I should have bought it. I absolutely should have bought this Torrin Clark direct market variant before it sold out everywhere. Now it's sold out and I can't get it, even though I loved that cover and I love this character. Even if the stories, I did read the first 10 issues and they were just fine to me. But if you're going to go all in on a character, you go all in on a character, right? I know it's going to bug me to have that hole in my collection. So there we go. That's the first one that got away. All right. So the second book that got away, it's got to be, we'll keep it on the Spider-Man list. Superior Spider-Man by Dan Slott. Now, this one was difficult to let go only because I've heard such amazing things about Dan Slott's run on Spider-Man. But the reason I didn't buy this book is because I have never read a single issue of Dan Slott's run on Spider-Man. And from what I understand, Dan Slott has a pretty nice long run on the character, and it kind of culminates in the events that lead to the Superior Spider-Man title, with Dr. Octopus taking over as Spider-Man and like somehow inhabiting Peter Parker's body. That's all I know about it. everybody says that, hey, this book is amazing. Superior Spider-Man is amazing. The art in Superior Spider-Man is handled by Ryan Stegman. All I ever want in life is to see a Spider-Man title drawn by Ryan Stegman after I saw him in Absolute Carnage. And I was like, yo, that's the best Spider-Man I've seen in a single issue since I started buying single issues. But thanks to my rules for myself that I've just recently imposed, I got to stop blind buying stories. And furthermore, if there's another book that's higher on the wish list and I only got a little bit of money, I got to get the book that's highest on the wish list. So I missed out on Superior Spider-Man. To my knowledge, it's still in stock at most places. So it's one of those that I'm keeping an eye on because I definitely got to pull the trigger sooner than later. Now, the next book that I completely missed out on is actually a very recent release. This book came out last week. This is Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 3. Now, Ultimate Spider-Man, Brian Michael Bendis and Mark Bagley. This is the book that broke the record for the longest run by a single writer and artist duo, creative team. And I have Ultimate Spider-Man Volumes 1 and 2, and I knew that I wanted to carry it through to completion because, like I said, I really love Miles Morales. And so I want to read everything in the Ultimate Universe that led to the creation of this Miles character and leads into his time going into the 616 and all of that. Plus, if you're going to read Peter Parker, there's kind of two routes you can take. I guess you can take both if you're a really super fan. You can read all of Stan and John Romita and Jack Kirby or Steve Ditko, whoever did the first issues of Spider-Man. You can read the Stan and Ditko Spider-Man and take it all the way from the beginning of time, aka 1962, and, keep it going. Or you can read like a sort of modernized retelling of a lot of the same events in the Ultimate Spider-Man. So I decided to grab Ultimate Spider-Man kind of sight unseen, but Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 3 just flew off the shelves. Like, it was the one thing that people hadn't seen before. And every cover is sold out at distribution as of right now. I think there is a small restock coming to Organic Price Books sometime this week as I film this. And I can't even promise you that that is still true by the time this video goes live because I am filming these in advance. But yeah, as it stands, there is no room in the budget for Ultimate Spider-Man Volume 3. And that book is selling out quickly. So yeah, those are a few stories. Let's take a quick break from Marvel. We'll come back to them. Another book that has gotten away from me so far, Green Lantern Corps by Peter J. Tomasi. This is a very similar thing. The theme in all of this is I haven't read these stories, so I don't want to buy the omnibus because I haven't read the stories and I don't want to put myself in a bind buying books that I haven't read. Make sense? Cool. So Green Lantern Corps by Peter J. Tomasi. I believe the art in this is by Patrick Gleason and a few others as well. I've loved everything I've read from Peter Tomasi, but my experience with Peter Tomasi is pretty limited. He was an editor on Batman. He wrote a Nightwing run that I read in trade paperbacks that I really liked. But he's probably most famous, at least most notable from what I've read, for his Superman run. He did Superman, he did Super Sons, he did Batman and Robin, right? I've read Super Sons, most of it. I've read bits and pieces of Batman and Robin. I haven't touched that man's Superman. But I know enough to know that I'll probably like anything he writes. And Green Lantern Corps does kind of complete the DC Omnibus collection from Peter J. Tomasi. And I also know this about myself. I'm not the biggest Hal Jordan fan. When Green Lantern stories focus on Hal Jordan exclusively, they kind of lose me. But the Green Lantern Corps is about the whole Green Lantern Corps. So we get appearances from John Stewart and Kilowog, and it's basically a big team extravaganza. And that's one of the aspects of Green Lantern lore that I love. I absolutely love the team dynamic. Kilowog might be my favorite Green Lantern behind John Stewart. Then it's probably, well, from the little bit I've read of Jessica Cruz, I like her a lot. I like Sojourner Mullen. But yeah, Hal Jordan is somewhere in there. He definitely makes the top 5. But yeah, anyway, I look forward to reading some more team focused stories and seeing like how different characters interact with each other. I've been enjoying that part of as I'm reading through the Jeff Johns omnibus. So it's not entirely absent from the Jeff Johns run or other runs, but I was just looking forward to it being explored more from Peter Tomasi's point of view, because Peter Tomasi tends to have really fun stories. So, the Green Lantern Corps Omnibus by Peter J. Tomasi is another one on the list of the ones that got away. And since we're in DC land, we'll start with another one that you're probably surprised I don't have. And that is Batman Eternal. Now, the Batman Eternal Omnibus did just come out like a week ago. And it's even on sale at some places for like $60. So I'm not crazy worried that I won't be able to get Batman Eternal, which is why I've been slow to pull the trigger. I'm pre-ordering a lot less these days. I'm kind of buying things as the funds come available. So Batman Eternal just hasn't quite made it onto the list of like dire straits yet. I know for a fact that most shops, most online retailers ordered heavy on Batman Eternal. By the way, Batman Eternal is written by Scott Snyder, James Tynion IV. I think there's a bunch of different artists on that series. It was a weekly series that ran during the New 52. And it's like a mystery story. That's kind of all I know about it. They also did the Batman and Robin Eternal Omnibus earlier this year. And that one contains significantly less. I want to say that's a 26 issue omnibus. And so I hadn't felt like I needed to buy it. The only reason that this and Batman Eternal are on my list are because I'm a Batman fan, and I know eventually I'm going to regret not owning every Batman book that at least has been made accessible. I've got pretty much everything from that era except Batman Eternal. But I do own Batman Eternal in 3 thick trade paperbacks that I got at Ollie's. So it's not an absolute need. But Batman Eternal by Scott Snyder and James Tynion IV is on the list. So now let's move back over to Marvel, where one of the last books on my ones that got away list is Wolverine Volume 4. Now, the Wolverine Omnibus Edition series is one that I was really excited about when they first reprinted Wolverine Volume 1. In fact, my Wolverine Volume 1 is one of those special ones to me because it had come out and gone out of print. And this is during the COVID time where everything was selling out in 5 minutes, like a pair of Jordans or whatever. And Wolverine Volume 1 came and went. And then I got a sponsorship on one of my other YouTube channels. It was my first major partnership with any company. And that was really, really cool. And I used that sponsorship money to buy this omnibus because I really, really wanted that direct market variant by Frank Miller, by Steve McNiven. And so I got it. I paid more than cover price, and I paid international shipping to get that book. And then they, rubbed my face in it by reprinting that book twice since then. But hey, no worries, no harm, no foul. It's special to me. It's got the COVID flat spine that, has become infamous for books released during that time. But yeah. So I got Wolverine Volume 1, not knowing that there was so much Wolverine to collect. So I have Volumes 2 and 3 that I've kind of kept going just because Wolverine is one of my favorite characters. But there's already a Volume 5 solicited. And, Volume 4 is cool. It's got that whole Fatal Attraction storyline and, Magneto ripping the adamantium out. I get it. But it's probably time to draw a line. And if I'm going to draw a line, I probably should draw it at Volume 3. But Wolverine number 4 is still kind of calling out to me, especially that one direct market variant with the spine that doesn't match anything else. You can see it being had for cheap. So if the price is right, I might grab it. So that's one of the last ones that got away. But the book that got away that I'm kind of most heartbroken about is the one that I saved for last. And that is the Immortal Hulk Omnibus. The Immortal Hulk, written by Al Ewing with art by Joe Bennett and a few others. This book, I just read it. I read it all digitally on Marvel Unlimited. And that book is amazing. Amazing. I had to read it. I did an interview with the Comic Binge. We talked about Immortal Hulk, and I had read the first 15 issues for that. But by the time I got past issue 15, I was hooked on that series. I have just finished, at the time of this recording, issue 50 in that run. And that book is excellent. Like, there are only a couple of times, there might be like a handful of issues that I'm like, I don't know, this issue probably wasn't for me. But the overall story, the character development, the world building, the way that they flipped Hulk mythos, If I'm only ever going to own one Hulk omnibus, I would want this to be it. Which means I'm going to own 2 Hulk omnibus because I got Planet Hulk. But this was the first time I read a Hulk story and like really, really liked it. And what's crazy is it's got a bunch of elements that I didn't think I would ever like in a comic book, horror specifically. But I love it. I love that book. And by the time I realized how much I liked that book, it had come and gone. Both covers, both variants sold out. I do think there's a small restock that just happened in November. So there might be a couple copies of this floating around. So help me out. Help me out. Immortal Hulk is definitely on my list of the ones that got away. Now, what you see behind me, this video is sponsored by Organic Price Books, but it's also sponsored by me. What you see behind me are some books that are duplicates in my collection that I've traded with people for, trying to get different stories and stuff like that, or get rid of certain stories and maybe use some stuff as like giveaway or to sell or whatever, right? So there are a bunch of books that I have that I need to get rid of to make room for some of these books that got away. And so as of right now, everything that I have available has been listed at comicsaredope.com/shop. So if you would like to help me get some of the ones that got away and maybe get something that got away from you, like the Justice League Dark New 52 Omnibus, for example, go on the website, place that order. There's only one of each. So once you buy it, it's gone. So jump there quickly. I did make sure to set all the prices below where you could get them anywhere else in case there are some of these that are still available on the direct market. So there's that. That'll help me get some, Kicksmas funds. And then I might be able to buy some of these books that got away. So go comicsaredope.com/shop. While you're there, you can actually find official Comics Are Dope merchandise like our Disapproved t-shirt, which is my favorite thing that I've designed up there. But I got a Static Shock shirt. I got a bunch of shirts that I've designed and designs that I've made for like mugs and other things. So you can shop official comicsaredope.com merch. I can't guarantee it'll be there before Christmas at this point, but it'll be there when you need it. So anyway, that's going to do it for me. I just wanted to show you guys that I do have some self-control. I do show some restraint sometimes. Maybe it's just because I'm forced to because of budgets. But hey, we all got that going on. So this was, again, another installment of the 25 Days of Comics, bringing you a video every single day in the month of December until Christmas. Huge thanks to the channel family for making videos on this channel possible, for supporting so that I can buy some of these ones that got away every now and then. But I'll see you guys in another review real soon. Till then, stay safe, stay awesome, be smart with your money, and read something dope today. Peace.